So welcome again to the Animal Empath Webinar. I am Stephanie Banks, and most of you know me, but just in case for those who are not familiar with my work, I am a professional intuitive channel. I channel all souls that were in human bodies, souls that were and are in animal bodies, the soul of Pachamama, our Mother Earth, the soul and essence of plant energy, our spirit guides, any spirit essence. So this is totally in my wheelhouse for what I am truly excited to bring you all tonight in terms of how we can attune to appreciate, channel, and use our animal empath gifts. So first, let me give a little quiz so you can determine if you are in the right place. If you answer yes to any of these questions, then you are in the right place. Here's the quiz. Are you an animal empath? If you feel a heart connection to animals, then you are in the right place. And you can just type in the chat, yes, if any of these things are resonating with you. If you feel the pain and suffering of animals, regardless of if you know them personally, then you are in the right place. If you feel anger, rage, or depression when you learn of animal abuse or neglect, then you are in the right place. If you sense that you can understand the needs of animals by observing their body language, their facial expressions, or just your own sense of knowing, any yeses there, and you're in the right place. If you have a hard time letting go of a story of animal cruelty, anyone here that has had that, then you are in the right place. If you feel a deep sense of joy and fulfillment when you are around animals, then you're in the right place. Good, lots of yeses. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are all in the right place. If animals make you laugh, cry, sing, dance, or act silly, kind of like where you look over your shoulder and you're hoping there are no cameras and nobody watching you, however you're behaving with your animals, then you are in the right place. If animals are naturally drawn to you, no matter where you are, anyone notice that? Someone wrote, yes, I act really silly around animals. Then you are in the right place. If you feel like animals communicate to you directly, who here has had that experience? Yeah, oh wow, tons of you. Then you're in the right place. Okay, good. I don't have to bump any of you out of here. You all belong. I'm so happy. We are in good company, and it doesn't always feel that way, does it? Does anyone here ever feel like they're all alone in their deep connection and difficult feelings around animals and the plight of animals and the situation globally with animals? Yes, I have felt that way myself. So this is also why we are gathered in community here tonight, so that we can see plain as day with our own eyes. We are not alone. There are tribes and tribes and tribes of us, and we are finding each other, and we are amplifying our gifts to be able to use them to support the entire planet, and most specifically animals upon the planet. So what's an empath? Let me give a really simplistic definition first. One who has the ability to understand the experiences and feelings of another outside of their own perspective. So as an empath, we don't have to have had the actual experience of someone else or something else to know what it feels like. We actually have the gift of feeling this in our bodies, in our energies. So empaths generally have, not all of us, but many, let me let this person in here, highly reactive nervous systems, not uncommon at all for us to have that. Does anyone here, just raise your hands if you feel like you have a highly sensitive or highly reactive nervous system? Yeah, okay, good. That's a good thing. It's a good thing. I know it's hard, but I'm going to explain to you why it's a good thing. And we can also feel easily overwhelmed and exhausted by the tumult of the outer world. Anyone ever feel, yeah, a little tired, a little depleted, a little pissed off? Yeah, I get it. Okay, so there's lots of types of empaths. Oh, Randy's like me. Big time. There are many different types of empaths. There's physical, emotional, intuitive, plant, earth, and animal are just some. There's more than that, but you can be combinations of different types of empaths. For example, I identify as an emotional empath, an intuitive empath, a plant empath, an earth empath, and an animal empath. No wonder I'm so tired and grumpy sometimes, right? Think of the amount of energy that when I'm not careful, I'm absorbing. If I'm not careful, I'm not recognizing that isn't mine. It's what I'm bringing in from others. So the level of self-love, self-care, and self-compassion that I personally require to stay in the higher vibrations is big. I have to dedicate to this in order for me to be of service to our animal friends and to our human friends as well. So being an empath of any type can feel like an overwhelming burden. Empaths are at higher risk of absorbing the feelings and states of others, which can leave us feeling, as I said, depleted, frustrated, confused, anxious, depressed, and worse. So what I want you to know is that your empathic abilities are an asset. They are a gift. Your soul brought them with you into this lifetime for very good reason, to be used. You were given these gifts to make a positive contribution to this planet and life upon it right now in this time. No better time than the present. So in this webinar, I'm going to show you ways to use your gifts in service to your soul's purpose and show you ways that you can release unwanted energy that you inadvertently absorb or take on and channel the emotional energy that gets activated to serve the highest good for you and for all life. So let's start. A lot of you know this technique that I do. It's super simple. We're going to shake it out. We're going to start with this technique to anything that your body or your energy field has absorbed today, last week, last month, for your whole lifetime. Go ahead and stand up and we're going to shake out our bodies. I don't have any music to play for this, but we do not need it. We'll stand up together. Okay. Feel the earth beneath you. So definitely move your feet, just kind of get settled, feel real grounded. You might bounce a little bit in your body. Feel the earth supporting you. And then let's do a little jiggle and a little wiggle, shaking your limbs out, your arms, your legs. Go ahead and flop your feet around too. And we're going to spend a little bit of time here. So you might want to make it a little bit more vigorous. We want to actually invite our heart rates to increase. Start stomping your feet. Feel your feet contacting the earth, stomping out anything that you've picked up that is not yours, sending it back to the middle of the earth. Let Mother Earth do what she knows to do with energy that we do not need. And keep shaking. Go, guys, go. Bring it. Shaking free anything at all that you don't need. Any sadness, any despair, any bad news, any sad news, any grief, any loss. Go ahead, move it, move it, move it. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. The more vigorous you go, the more you can break free. Releasing everything you don't need. Beautiful. Okay. One last big shake. Woo! Okay. And then come back. Come back, sit back down. Feel what you feel. Really feel what you feel. Take a moment. Let your hands settle in your lap. I always feel a lot of tingling after I do this, but see what you get, see what you feel. And notice how amazing your body is, that you could move it like that on your own volition. We forget. Not everybody can. And how incredible it is that your heart accommodated that activity, started pumping more blood, started increasing your pulse. Amazing, miraculous body that it is. Good. And maybe you feel more clear right now. Maybe. Go ahead and put in the chat one word that you're present to now that's a little bit different, that you feel that you didn't feel right before you did the shaking, that you're feeling right now. Leslie says, I've heard that animals in the wild. Yes, ma'am. Exactly. That is exactly what I was going to explain. Animals have the wisdom to know to shake it off. So when they go through an intense experience in the wild, when the gazelle just narrowly escapes being eaten by the cheetah or the lion, they go off into the bush and they just shake, sometimes for minutes or longer, and let their nervous systems reset. So this is an instant reset for us too, our nervous systems. Buzzing, receptive, chills, alive, centered, warmer, beautiful, energized, awesome, chills. Yeah, good. So brilliant. You can do this all the time. I recommend it every day. Tingling and in abnormal high pitch tones. Interesting. Cool. Okay. So now we're settled. Now that we've loosened and released any stuck energy and we're settled into our bodies, feeling the fullness of who you are, the blessing and miracle that you are, go ahead and gently close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. And let's share a few breaths together, bringing ourselves even more into this present moment of peace. Nice, easy, deep, slow breaths. And while you just do this peaceful breathing, I'm going to guide you into a meditation and visualization where you'll have the opportunity to connect with any animal that you have known, or perhaps one that is new to you, and receive its love, presence, connection, and communication. Stay with your breath and feel your body more and more relaxed. You are safe and soft, comfortable and peaceful. Now, with your next few breaths, I invite you to imagine yourself in a beautiful outdoor setting. It can be anywhere at all. Perhaps it's in a meadow with the warmth of the sun on your back. Perhaps it's at the ocean, listening to the waves on the shore. Perhaps it's in the middle of a forest. Wherever your imagination takes you, go there. And as you visualize yourself standing in this beautiful area of nature, take in all of the sights and sounds and smells that are present. Just notice. Is there a breeze on your skin? Can you hear birds singing? Or chipmunks scurrying? Or squirrels frolicking in the trees? Notice all the different animals that surround you in this beautiful place. And look around in your mind's eye. How do these animals greet you? What do you feel in their presence? Spend a few breaths here. Now I invite you to summon one particular animal with whom you would like to connect. It can be an animal you knew in childhood, or an animal you have or had as a pet at any time, or any animal that you feel a strong affinity towards. See this animal approaching you now in this beautiful place. It's moving slowly, self-assuredly, noticing your presence, approaching you as you invite it closer. As this precious animal reaches you, notice what the reunion feels like. Just be present with it. Take it all in with an open and loving heart. Perhaps there's something that this animal wants to show you or tell you. Let yourself be present to that as well. Trust what is coming through and know that it is coming from pure love. Perhaps you have a question for your animal guide. Is there something sitting on your heart that you would like to ask? Go ahead and ask it as you commune with this animal. And listen for its guidance and its response. Now it is time to come back into the awareness of your body and your breath, but know that you can keep this sweet energy of your animal guide with you as you come back into your physical awareness. Now is a good time to thank your animal for joining you, connecting with you, and sharing with you. You can tell your animal that you will visit with it again soon. And now you're letting yourself take deeper breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Beautiful. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. Yeah. Oh, I know you guys made some amazing connections. I can see it and feel it and sense it. So let's take a minute to type and share if you feel like doing so. You don't have to give every detail, but who came to you? How were they familiar to you? What was their message for you? Or what feeling did you get around them? Go ahead and take a little bit to put that in the chat. Childhood dog. Yeah, beautiful. Lots of love there. Your dog and protector when you were 5 to 9 years old. Gorgeous. Whew, chills. Sweet dog Jasmine. She is here to be my, I think, partner. It said you wrote part eater, but I'm pretty sure she's not here to partly eat you. The Honu, the Hawaiian green sea turtle. Yes, Scott, who greeted you the first time. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Jackie came to play in your garden, bringing joy and love. Beautiful. So one of your dogs is watching over the feral cat family that found you. Oh, how gorgeous. Sweet souls. Yes. Oh, with your first dog, Magnum. Oh, beautiful, guys. Okay, awesome. See, this is another gift of being an animal empath. We can do this. We can connect with animals, animal soul, spirit, anytime here on the earth, those on the across the Rainbow Bridge. Moses came with his, your friends, Bishan, who's not fond of many people, but have always liked you. That's awesome, Nancy. Beautiful, heart-filling, right? Just very moving and touching. Okay, so animals are our teachers and our guides. They carry the purest positive vibrational frequency. Animals are only ever in the present moment. You might not believe me of that because we do tend to anthropomorphize our animals. We tend to say that they're thinking what we're thinking or worried about what we're worried about. No, they're not. They're in the present. They don't carry grudges and they don't worry about the future. They are on the planet with us to walk alongside us and bring us into the present and provide us with that delicious unconditional love, especially our companion animals. And when we watch animals in the wild, that can be a transformational experience too, as we see them prepare their homes or their nests or their dens, and they play with each other and they tend to their young, and they find their food and rest and play peacefully in the sun. We need animals and animals need us. So I invite you to consider that the intense emotions you might be feeling for the plight of the animals are purposeful and are designed to bring you into a state of action. So emotions help us to take action, right? They help us know when to make decisions, and they help us to understand others. Emotions, I always say emotion is energy in motion. If we allow for that energy to move through our bodies, then we do not have to carry it as a heavy burden into everything that we do. So these emotions tell us when we're on our right path and when things are drastically wrong. What are some of the challenging emotions you feel when you read stories about animal suffering, cruelty, or destruction? Please type that in the chat. What are some of the really challenging emotions you feel when you learn of this or someone shares it with you? Helplessness, anger, intense anger, worry, my skin hurts, so angry, disappointment, deep sadness, despair, depression, all of the above, empathy. Yeah. Yeah. I would add, I don't call this necessarily an emotion, but I would add homicidal. When I learned that people have been cruel to animals, I literally feel like I could make heads roll. It just activates this fierce rage and anger in me. I avoid as much as possible. Yeah, listening to the stories. Yep. Yeah, yeah. So tough, right? Hard on the tender-hearted. Very difficult to be in those very intense emotions. The commercials are brutal. Yeah, yeah. There's just the outer imagery and so much bombardment. Yeah, and then if we are supporting certain causes, say in our social media feeds, we got to be really careful about that too, because the imagery that just comes through, certainly well-meaning, because these are the realities that animals are that humans have forced upon animals. But that doesn't mean it serves us to bathe in that. So we're going to talk about that. Makes you want to throat hug the mean people. That was so much nicer than homicidal, Randy. Thank you. I want to throat hug them. Yes. So I have to allow those emotions. I have to let them come through. I have to move my body so that they can enter and exit, so that I can be clear on what's the wisdom underneath, what's the activation, what am I being invited to do or think or offer differently or in that moment. So that's where the shaking comes in. That's where the movement comes in. And there are countless ways that we can channel that energy to benefit the animals. I'm going to list a few in this webinar just to get the wheels turning, but add in your own. But because there are so many ways for us to direct this energy for it to actually be of the use and intelligence that it's meant to be. Okay. So first on the list, choosing a plant-based diet. The immense suffering of animals trapped in our food industry is truly just atrocious. So by reducing or eliminating animals or animal products from our diet, we can have a profound impact on their well-being. We really can. So there's all sorts of rhetoric out there. Well, what can one person do? Well, what does a small change do? It makes a massive difference. I promise you this. So you can do this slowly and celebrate your successes around it. And every item you put on your plate is an opportunity to contribute to the well-being of animals and the planet. Here's another option: choosing products that are cruelty-free. So our money is our vote. Everything we buy is a vote, and nothing is neutral when it comes to how we spend our money. There is no way to be neutral with it. So if we buy products that cause suffering to animals or the planet, we are voting yes to suffering. And so it's our responsibility to educate ourselves about the products that we purchase, ask questions, read labels, and then ask more questions. So, funny story, a couple summers ago, I went to the beauty supply store to buy some tinted moisturizer. And they didn't sell the kind I was accustomed to buying. And so I asked the sales clerk, can you please help me find a vegan or cruelty-free product? And she wasn't accustomed to looking for that specific request. So we navigated the aisles together and we were reading, and I'm there with the tiny print and I didn't have my glasses, and she's there trying to figure out how to pronounce most of the things that are in these products. Very concerning, but there you go. And then she says, I think I found one. Yeah, here, let me look a little closer. And she's like, what do you think about this? All the other ingredients are plant-based, but then it does say that it contains, are you ready? Snail secretions. Now, a non-animal empath might just say, ew, that sounds gross, right? Or they might say, oh, that sounds very moisturizing. Snails make, nice moisturizer. But because I am an animal empath, I was like, oy vey, the snails, how are they getting those secretions from them? Are they confined? Are they slaves? Like I made this whole imagination came into effect, and terrible things I was conjuring in my mind, because honestly, really, how do you gather secretions from a snail? I've seen the lines on the sidewalk. You can't gather that. So I won't take you down the road of trying to imagine what I was imagining, but it was awful. It was awful what I conjured in my mind. I did not buy that product. And she was even a little bit repulsed too. I know, the sales clerk was. She said, I didn't even know they would put something like that in cosmetics. You'd be surprised. So ask, relabels, ask again. Okay, here we go. Another way to channel your empath energy is to follow your passion. We all have passions. We all have causes that we're passionate about. Your passion is your soul's pleasure. Okay, why would you deny your soul's pleasure where your soul is guiding you? So let's just say your passion is cats. You're obsessed with cats. Find a local cat rescue organization and offer your support. And there's so many ways to do this, of course. It can be monetary donations. It can be your time. It can be donations of products that they need. It can be spreading the word on social media. You can go take pictures of the darling kitties and put them up. This one's looking for a home. This one I've named, Jenny, and she's so cute, and whatever. There's a reason that you feel strongly about a particular species or animal. There's a reason you are connected, your soul's connected to that one. So consider that perhaps you are here to serve that species in a significant way. Consider it a calling and see how you might respond to that calling. So if elephants are your thing, I love them all, but I'm particularly drawn to elephants as well. And now snails too, by the way. Consider sponsoring an elephant that's been rescued from the circus industry, or sign petitions that are geared towards freeing elephants from the horrific conditions they endure for human entertainment. Literally every single day in my email, I get opportunities to click on petitions. These have an impact and they take 3 seconds. So you read, you click, you share, you move on. It's no time out of your day, and you have actually done something to contribute to the betterment. So follow your passion. Yes, I know, gross. You guys are printing some nasty ingredients and things. Here's another way to channel this animal empath energy. Speak up on behalf of the animals. So the thing with empaths is many of us, if not most of us, tend towards preferring introversion. So we don't necessarily like to be out there and super audible and super visible. I get that. I totally understand that. Not everybody. It's not making a generalization here, but many. And so it can be hard to imagine going against the grain, especially of mainstream. However, if mainstream is unacceptable to you, then we go against it, right? And our silence, if we do not speak up, actually contributes to the suffering on the planet. So we can't be silent. You can find ways to speak your voice in a number of different ways that don't require you to put yourself in a hugely uncomfortable position. But do speak up and speak out. You don't have to take up every cause, but the one that breaks your heart, take that one, okay? And speak to that. And invite your friends to join you. Because if you feel strongly about something, chances are excellent that other people are disturbed or distressed by it as well. But we have been asked to accept under the guise of, well, that's just the way it is. And that is a way of keeping things in pattern in society that is it's not acceptable. It's not okay. We cannot accept what is just the way it is. We are here as change makers. We are here to respond to those that are voiceless or less voiced than we are. So that's why we gather together like this. That's why we find each other. That's why we call in the other animal empaths, because we are greater with our numbers. Our power is greater. Another story. In 2019, I was invited to go into the Amazon rainforest, which was an incredible honor. And the tribe that invited this particular group that I joined, they are called the Achuar people, and they are a warrior tribe. And they were sharing their land with us and their food with us and their homesteads with us and their families and everything. It was an incredible experience. And as part of the community, there are dogs that live on the land there. They did not exist in the Amazon rainforest. The people would go into town and get dogs and bring them back. And as with every other part of the world, many of these dogs went neglected and even abused in some cases. And so many were emaciated. I was overcome with this intense emotion every time, every day, when I would see these dogs wandering and looking for food. And I don't know if it's the animal empath in me or the Jewish mother in me, whatever it is, I have to feed them. So we would be gathering, and the Achuar people would make us beautiful meals of the local plants that they had, and sometimes fish from the rivers, and occasionally chickens that they had raised. And I know what a generosity is to cook for visitors and to offer food. And so during these meals, I would take the stuff I wasn't going to eat, wrap it in a napkin really secretly and clandestinely, and then I would take it to the dogs afterwards and try not to be seen because I did not want to offend them. And just one or two times doing that, the other women in my group noticed and joined me. So we would have a communal plate or a communal mug. One day when they served the chicken, we called it the chicken mug, and the chicken mug got passed around the table, and everybody just quietly put their chicken in there, passed it back to me. I looked around, found a way to scurry away and deliver it to the animals. And even though all those women were not necessarily feeling the same intensity that I was, or maybe even they didn't identify as animal empaths, my tender heart in sharing that with them invited theirs to join me, and they wanted to make a difference for these dogs. So that is what we did. So I'm just inviting you that if I can do this in the middle of the Amazon rainforest, you can do this here in our highly developed first world, country. Okay, so here's something else we got to do as animal empaths. We have to protect our energy fields. This is essential. There is no reason to overwhelm ourselves with all the suffering in the outer world. We know enough by now. We know the stories. We don't have to reread them. We're aware of the enormous problems. They seem insurmountable, but remember what I said, the teeny tiny changes have an enormous ripple effect. So I recommend that you don't watch the graphic stuff. I can't anymore. I have had to clean out my feed regularly, because even though these organizations I still will support, the manner in which they are activating the emotional energy so that other people will support it, it sends me into my pillow sobbing for days sometimes, which renders me much less available and effective as a powerful empath. So make sure your feeds are as clear as possible. And you can also give feedback to that end as well. You can let the people know who are running these organizations, hey, I like to donate, but I can't watch these graphic videos anymore. So this is the risk. I might have to push your organization aside for a bit so that I can recover from it. They want to know this. They want to do what's best for the animals. So take really good care of yourself, be really gentle with yourself, really loving with yourself, do your nurturing and your self-care. And you know what? Treat yourselves as well as you treat your animal companions. There's an idea. I totally want to come back as my dogs in my house again and again and again, right? Like they've got it made. So you guys might feel the same way about your animal companions too. And then one more suggestion to keep your tender heart protected and still able to perceive, which is spend as much time as possible in the natural world. Tune into the birds as they sing for you. They are singing for us. Giggle at the silly behaviors of the squirrels, how they argue and fight and flip their tails around. I like to try to imitate their sounds. Take photos of those beautiful deer that are munching leaves quietly around you. Put up a bird feeder, keep it clean. Okay, I know there's like bacteria issues now. Plant a pollinator-friendly garden. That is wildly fun. And then sit and watch all the butterflies and the caterpillars come and munch on it, and the bees and everything. It's a whole world. Talk to the lizards. They do talk back. In fact, I was the honored observer of two very amorous lizards in my backyard. Had no idea about that part of lizard life. That learned a lot there. Wow, that was amazing. So this is a quote from His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama. Our innate capacity for empathy is the source of the most precious of all human qualities. So you see, what I'm showing you is that your animal empath nature is an important part of you, and it's meant to be put to good use. It's a gift that you chose as a perfect soul to come into this third dimensional density, one of despair, one of fracture, one of disconnection, but also one of love and beauty and kindness and compassion, so that you can have this source of extra knowing. That's what I think of as the empath. We have this extra understanding, this extra knowing, and emotional guidance for what needs to be repaired and what your part is in that. So put your hand or hands over your heart right now, please. And for a moment, with your eyes softly closed, just breathe gently in and out through your heart. And go ahead and thank your beautiful, expansive, loving heart for its tenderness towards animals. And thank it for its fierce love and unrelenting compassion. And thank your heart for allowing you to feel so, so, so deeply. For feeling this deeply is indeed a gift. And let your heart know that you will honor what it feels and how it wishes to guide you. And let your heart know that you will show up for yourself and for the animals and for all life for all time. And so it is. Beautiful. So questions, reflections, use the chat. Let's communicate. Let's talk here. What haven't I touched on, or what do you want to make me aware of? You're welcome. And if you want to unmute and speak it, if that's easier.
I have always felt the presence of my dog Ranger when I was a kid, and known that he's around protecting and see evidence that he's protecting. But I've never been able to connect. But tonight was the first time that I felt the connection and actually hearing the communication and stuff coming across. So that was very cool.
Amazing.
Very, very
Chills.
cool. Yeah, absolutely. And the morning I signed up for this thing, for this webinar, walking down a sidewalk, there's a hummingbird on the sidewalk, just sitting there or standing there. And so I knelt down, put my hands next to it, actually came up and it picked it up, and it stayed in with me for a moment, just looking at me, and then it flew away.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought that perfect sign. I'm supposed to be in this class.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh, how I'm just imagining how that felt on your hand, the lightness of that being and the beauty and the colors and
those little eyes just looking at you, and it just, yeah, it was amazing.
Wow, that is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I can like feel that. I can feel what the sensations would be like for that, the gorgeous love exchange there. Amazing.
So when you said earlier in the evening that that the animals are only living in the present and not worried about, I guess, the future. So I feel like my pet, my animal, has gotten a little anxious since I moved to a different space. And so I'm having trouble, and I feel so connected with her, and she's almost more clingy. And then she's more, I feel like she follows me around everywhere. And if she's only in the present, I'm having trouble reconciling how that is.
Yeah, that's a great question. So animals do respond to change in different ways, right? So you've had a massive change of living environment. So she is present to something very different and might be expressing how she's acclimating to that, because just like us, right? You plunk us somewhere else and we're like, wait, what? Okay, let me see what this is about. Also, the process of moving for us humans is huge in terms of what it brings up of emotion, right? And our animal companions are mirrors for us. That's another way they presence themselves with us. So when we are emotional about anything and any type of emotion at all, they oftentimes reflect that back to us. And then we have the tendency, we're just great creatures. We're so funny. Oh, Fluffy is very upset. Fluffy is, she does not like this, room, this neighbor. She doesn't like the decorations. I'm not teasing you at all. I'm saying this is stuff that's gone through my head. And so what do I do? How do I? And really, Fluffy is reflecting Stephanie. Stephanie's out of sorts. Stephanie is working to get grounded and centered, et cetera. And as soon as I am that, which does take us a bit, especially with a move, a change like that, then you will, I believe, likely see a softening, an opening, a represencing of her natural state, how she was in your previous homestead. But change is hard on us, and therefore it is reflected by our animals as well. And our animals can also be highly sensitive. Animals, not every animal is the same. They don't have the same way of behaving or the same makeup. So yours is particularly attuned, which I'm not surprised. I've met her. She's amazing. She's awesome.
Thank you.
But yeah, good
That was
question.
helpful. I appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. Any other questions or reflections?
You were saying about being very angry sometimes
Mm.
and things coming up on your feed.
Mm-hmm.
I very often don't watch what comes up my feed. I will like it, but then I will repost it on my Facebook page because I want people to see.
Yeah.
And I get so angry, and I almost don't like myself for being so angry. I get
Mm-hmm.
so angry that people are not looking at what's happening, and it's getting in my way.
Mm.
Being angry is
Yes.
getting in my way. So what I do is I throw it off and I say, well, I'm going to put on a page, and if you look at it, then it's your tough luck. You have to deal with it. I mean,
Send.
send it over there. I know about it. You look at it.
Well, so one of the many things I love about you, dear lady, is that is your voice. That is a form of your voice. I'm not going to tell you not to do that. You are a voice for the animals. You have been pivotal in my vegan venture. I've told you this before. And so so sending that out into the ethers we cannot call that a gentle approach to education. You already know that, but not everybody is here to use that approach. And you also do use a gentle approach of education in every other way that you present truth of what is going on. So I'm going to say good. That's what I'm going to say. Good. I'm not going to correct that behavior because there's a big part of me that says we need to see this. Part of why it's gotten to the stage that it has is because it has been hidden from view from the public intentionally for years and years and years. And that is the most heartbreaking thing. So has so much, right? Trafficking. So has so much been hidden in the dark underworld, in the underground. And so by bringing it up into the light, we must address it. And those of us with the tender hearts, those of us with the high empathy, are showing up to do that in whatever ways we can. So I get it. And that's perfectly fine with me.
I guess I'm not even sure exactly, like, I don't have a question or comment, but kind of with Karen, that concept of being in the present, because I've always heard that, and I experience animals in general to live in the present, but I think it's when they're in their more natural balanced state, but can be thrown off.
Yes.
And so one way I look at that is sometimes realizing animals can get ungrounded too, and be grounded and return more to their sense of more natural presence. And we can certainly help with that. And like you say, how they mirror us so often, but it is a tricky thing to deal with them as their own creatures. And they do have memories and experiences and traumas, but just bringing them back into a more grounded present state, I think lets them live in that.
Yeah. And the only way to bring them there is to be there ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's like they are supporting us so much. This is such a big part of their purpose, I believe, is to hold that invitation. Okay, human, are we going to spin in the anxious energy again all day today? Okay, I'm ready. I'll start biting my tail. I will start licking my paw. I will start, rearranging the furniture. Or human, are you ready to be peaceful with me? Let's have a spell of that, right? So yes, I totally agree. And we do have, because we spend so much time with our animals and they are exposed to our energy every day, all day, we do influence them. Of course we do. So they may be, their natural inclination, as you said, is a balanced, grounded, centered state. And then we can tip in, one direction or another as we freak out about everything.
Yeah.
So, and we all do it. And we have probably in this country, the highest number of neurotic animals, just as a reflection of what's going on in the human psyche now, which is perfectly understandable. And I'm not mocking it. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
We are struggling right now.
I think well put. We so freely share our distortions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Also, I'll just say, I mean, we've talked, and you know that it's not a new topic to me, or I've never thought about this before. And yet it feels so nice just to participate. I thought, well, why would I go? And it's like, because it really is beautiful to share. And there is comfort in realizing others, even if you know there's others to experience. Like, I look at the faces on the screen and hear voices, and it makes it all the more real. Yes, we're not alone. Yes, we are an influence in the world. And it's a reinforcement in an area that can be pretty tippy at times when provoked. So anyway, I would say thank you. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to just share the being in it.
Yes. Thank you. That's exactly what I wanted you all to feel.
I completely see eye to eye with almost everything that we've shared tonight. And I just wanted to, just bring to light that, I have 4 dogs and other animals as well, but the recent trips to the vets have changed over time. The stress-free environment is more prevalent now than even in past companions that I had, where they would literally encourage the dog to come in completely out of sorts. They were more quickly supplying the muzzle, more quickly getting 3 or 4 people helping you drag this animal that's absolutely terrified, white coat syndrome, like we all have, when we go to the doctors, and imagine, that's the way that they are expelling and showing just the discomfort with the whole situation. So I was just pleased to see the evolution of that mindset. It's a small evolution, but it's still there. And it just goes to show that all of us here tonight, and, hopefully there's many, many, many more of us, but they have made an impact enough to get to the local veterinarians, where the stress-free environment is huge. I mean, I can tell you that I have one very fearful dog, and it took me 3 hours to get the dog into the vet. Now, it took a lot for me not to be stressed at that point, but, like you say, they mirror. So,
So you bring up an excellent point. Yeah. When your vet is doing a good job with honoring where the animal is at and functioning, you must let them know, right? Like,
absolutely.
Really, gush about it, like give a lot of positive feedback, because that's how we ensure that more of that happens, and that vet maybe can talk to their other vet friends. Oh, hey, we used to use muzzles, but now we come out with, we change our energy, right? We whatever it is. But yes, thank you. That's really good. Good to hear. Good to know. And we can influence this. We have a lot of influence over so much more than what we might think we have. So thank you all so much. I'm so grateful for all of you being here and participating, and have a beautiful night and go off in service to our animals. They need us and they are here for us as well. Good night, everybody.